Hi there, I'm Lacey. It was my birthday, my 38th, and my sister handed me a gift bag that said, "Try harder next year." People laughed. Then she announced her pregnancy, at my party. That was the moment I got up and left. But the truth? That wasn't the beginning. It was just the first time I walked out loud. They used guilt to keep me quiet. They humiliated me with a smile. They even went through my daughter to get under my skin. Why does the family that says they love you hurt you the most? They had the nerve to hang a banner with my name in LED lights, like I was the guest of honor. Like they hadn't just set me up to be humiliated in front of every cousin, uncle, and neighbor within a 100-mile radius. Balloons in shades of blush and ivory swayed in the breeze. The cupcakes looked like they'd been arranged by a wedding planner. Everything was perfect, except the part where I was supposed to feel celebrated. Travis stood beside me, hand on the small of my back. Junie skipped ahead, clutching her homemade card in both hands like it was sacred. Her glitter shoes sparkled under the late afternoon sun. Jody greeted us with that overly bright grin she uses when she's about to pull something. "There she is, birthday girl," she trilled, voice a little too loud. Our mom hovered behind her, already sipping wine and avoiding my eyes. I knew something was off the moment Jody grabbed the microphone. "Let's give my baby sister the gift she deserves," she beamed, dragging out every syllable. A plain white paper bag was handed to me. No ribbon, no wrapping, just a yellow sticky note slapped on crooked. "Try harder next year." The laughter started immediately, some awkward chuckles, a few gasps, but Jody laughed first. Too loud, too long. Inside the bag? A broken lip balm, half-used mints in a crumpled hotel wrapper, and a receipt to a dollar store. No card, no note, no effort. I didn't say a word, just looked at Junie, whose smile had faltered. She held up her glittery card to me like it might undo what had just happened. Before I could even process what the hell was going on, Jody grabbed the mic again. "Oh, before I forget, we're having a baby, number 3. She clutched her stomach dramatically. "Surprise!" The cheers were instant. Mom rushed to hug her. Someone popped a confetti cannon. One of Jody's boys ran to the LED sign and flipped it. It now read, "Auntie again." That's when I knew. This party was never for me. I turned to Junie. "You ready for real cake?" I whispered. She nodded, eyes wide and silent. Travis was already reaching for the car keys. We left our plates untouched, walked out the side gate without a word. No one stopped us. No one called after us. The music swelled behind us, upbeat and artificial, but something cracked open inside me. By the time we pulled into the driveway, the sun had dipped behind the trees, leaving streaks of burnt orange fading into gray. Junie unbuckled herself in silence, still hugging that glittery card like it might undo the humiliation neither of us could voice yet. She walked ahead, letting the screen door creak shut behind her. Inside, the quiet was louder than the party music we'd left behind. Travis placed the card I'd made for my mother on the kitchen counter, wrapped in soft floral paper, tied with lavender ribbon. I'd spent hours crafting it. Photos of us through the years, a handwritten note about the time she nursed me through mono. A memory book. She never opened it. "She won't even look at it," I said softly, my eyes stuck on that untouched ribbon. Travis didn't answer. He just pulled me in, held me like he knew saying anything would cheapen it. Earlier that day, while Junie was busy drawing stars on her birthday cards for her cousins, I had carefully taped down the last photo in that journal. I wanted it to be something Mom would actually keep, something she'd reread when she missed me. I even wrote, "You raised me stronger than you think." Turns out, she didn't want strength. She wanted a replica of Jody. At the party, when I handed her the gift, she blinked twice and said, "Oh, I'll open it later." Her voice was thin, distant. Mom barely finished her sentence before Jody swooped in with a perfectly wrapped electronics box. "Something useful, not sentimental," she laughed. Mom's face lit up like someone flipped a switch. "Oh my God, is this the new health tracker? Jojo, how do you always know exactly what I need?" Everyone clapped. I was still holding the shredded wrapping from my gift. Now, standing in my kitchen, I opened the drawer beside the fridge and slid the unopened card inside, behind old coupons and expired batteries. Maybe I'd mail it to myself someday. Travis handed me a glass of wine and said nothing. That's what I loved about him. He never filled silence just to feel useful. I took a sip, let the burn settle. She sees Jody as the daughter she wished she had, I whispered. He leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Maybe it's time you stop trying to become what she wants and start being who Junie already sees. That hit harder than anything at the party. My lips trembled. I took another sip. I think I'm done pretending this family works. We heard small footsteps padding down the hallway. Junie appeared, holding the birthday card she'd made for me, pink crayon hearts and stick figures. She looked up. Mom, do you think Aunt Jody meant it, that you should try harder next year? I bent down to her level. No, sweetheart. Some people forget how to be kind. She nodded slowly, then offered her card like a peace offering. I think yours was the prettiest one. I kissed her forehead. That's because it came from someone who actually meant it. After Junie went to bed, I curled up on the couch with a blanket I wasn't cold enough to need. Travis kissed my forehead, whispered he'd be upstairs, and left me in the kind of silence that hums when your brain won't stop. I picked up my phone, not because I wanted to scroll, just to distract my hands. Muscle memory opened Instagram. That's when I saw it. My cousin Molly had posted a slideshow. White and gold decorations, long banquet tables under string lights, a 3-tier cake shaped like intertwined rings. Her caption? 50 years of love, couldn't imagine better parents. Cheers to the best night ever. I stared. My chest tightened. I hadn't been invited. I hadn't even known it happened. They threw a 50th anniversary party for my parents. Big, flashy, catered. And I wasn't even told. Not a text. Not a lie to cover it. Just nothing. My thumb hovered over the comment section. Should I pretend I didn't see it? Should I like the post to keep the peace? My heart beat against my ribs like it wanted out. I opened my messages, typed, me. I didn't know about the anniversary party. Read. No reply. 20 minutes later, Mom. We didn't think you'd want to come. You've been distant. Distant? After they watched my sister mock me in front of my child and said nothing? I had been quiet, not distant. There's a difference. I set the phone down and let my head fall back. The ceiling spun a little. I closed my eyes, and like it always does, memory came rushing in. I was 10. I'd gotten the lead in our school play. Weeks of rehearsal. I made my own poster, colored every star. Opening night came, and I scanned every row, holding my breath. Empty seats where my parents were supposed to be. Afterward, Mom said, Jody had volleyball tryouts. You understand, right? And I did. Or I said I did. I always did. Because being the easy one was the only way I knew to get any scraps of attention. Back in the present, I opened the bottom drawer of the side table. Inside was a folder labeled Family. I hadn't touched it in a while, but it was there. Screenshots, emails, a birthday message from 2 years ago that just read, Happy birthday. No punctuation, no name. A printed message where Mom called Jody, our rock, our pride. The same year she told me, You're hard to read. I flipped through the pages. One by one, they whispered the same thing. You've never been chosen. Not for holidays, not for birthdays, not even as a daughter worth remembering. By the time Saturday morning arrived, I had almost convinced myself the past week hadn't chipped at me as badly as it did. Then my phone rang. Mom. Jody's babysitter canceled last minute, she began without greeting. Can you pick up the boys from soccer and keep them a few hours? I blinked. Why can't you? My back's flaring again, and you're the most dependable. That word, dependable, landed like a backhanded compliment. I agreed, like always. And I hated that about myself. 2 hours later, I was pulling up to my parents' house with Jody's boys in the back seat, talking about juice boxes and video games like nothing was off, like their mom hadn't turned my birthday into a punchline 7 days earlier. At the barbecue, no one thanked me for picking them up. Not Jody, not Mom. The boys ran off, and I was left holding a half-empty sports bottle and a wrinkled jacket like the help who showed up early. The lawn buzzed with conversation. Folding tables groaned with potato salad and ribs. Uncle Rick called out across the yard, Still doing that online gig, Lacey? Before I could respond, Jody chimed in. She edits company emails, internal stuff. It's cute. Mom laughed. Well, at least it keeps her busy. My face flushed. I stared at my plate, untouched. Last week, I presented a full pitch deck to the board and secured an extra $15,000 in departmental funding. But sure, let's talk about how I'm kept busy. I glanced at Travis, who sat beside me chewing slower than usual. He didn't say anything, but his jaw was tight. He always knew when I was clenching words between my teeth. Inside my head, something whispered, "One more time. If they do this one more time." After dessert, Jody passed by me with her third glass of wine and muttered, "You always take things so seriously. It's just family. Don't be so sensitive." That line again, that lazy dismissal. I gave a polite nod and started gathering empty plates. Travis leaned in, voice low. "You good?" I smiled too wide. "Peachy." But in my chest, the line had already been drawn. 3 days after the barbecue, I was brushing Junie's hair after her bath, mentally ticking through my work emails and wondering if I had enough energy to care about dinner. Travis was downstairs loading the dishwasher. The house smelled faintly of lemon soap and the lavender lotion Junie insisted on. Just as I leaned down to kiss her cheek goodnight, my phone buzzed on the dresser. Mom lit up the screen. Without thinking, I answered. She was already crying. "You've made everything so tense lately," she sniffed. "Jody's trying so hard, and you're making her feel unwanted." I blinked, stunned. "I didn't even say anything at that barbecue." "Exactly," she said, voice rising. "You just sat there. All that sulking made it awkward for everyone. She was trying to lighten the mood. You used to laugh with us." I took a deep breath, held it, then said, flatly, before I realized I was the punchline. She sniffled louder. "You don't know how much this hurts me." I stepped out into the hallway, pulling the door gently behind me. "You're crying because I didn't fake laugh when your favorite daughter mocked my career in front of a table full of people?" There was silence. "You want me to comfort you because you let her humiliate me, and I didn't perform happiness on cue?" Still no answer. I kept going, my voice low but clear. "You can't keep calling it keeping the peace when you only protect the loudest person in the room." She finally muttered, "You used to be easier." "No," I said, sharper now. "I used to be smaller. I used to shrink myself to fit inside whatever quiet corner made you most comfortable." Her breath hitched on the other end, but I didn't wait. I hung up. Downstairs, Travis looked up from the sink when he heard the click of my phone hitting the kitchen counter. "You all right?" he asked, wiping his hands. "Not yet," I said, pouring a glass of water, but I finally said it. He stepped closer, gave me a quiet nod. That voice has waited a long time. I took a sip and let the silence settle. The weekend crept in quiet, like the calm before a storm you know is coming but can't quite name. By Saturday morning, the air felt too still. That's when the doorbell rang. A pink box sat on the front porch. Junie squealed, "It has stickers! It's from Aunt Jody!" I didn't even have to see the handwriting to know. She pulled the lid off with hopeful hands. Inside, a stuffed elephant missing one eye, broken crayons, a paperback with a torn cover, and a bent index card that read, "Thought of you, Aunt Jody." Junie's face changed instantly. "Did I do something bad?" I knelt beside her. "No, baby, you didn't." She blinked at me, lip trembling. I stood up, gathered the items, and walked straight to the kitchen trash bin. Junie didn't say anything, just followed me with wide, confused eyes. That night, after tucking her in and kissing her forehead twice, I checked my phone. Missed call. No voicemail icon. But when I opened my inbox, I saw the transcript. Jody's voice, snide and slow. "You think you're protecting her? You're just making her soft. She'll pick her side eventually. Let's see if she picks the dramatic mom or the family that actually shows up." I didn't feel the usual burn, just a cold kind of clarity. Travis read over my shoulder. "She actually said that?" I nodded, already moving toward the office. Laptop open, fingers steady. Subject, formal no contact request. Juniper Tanner. I CC'd the school principal, attached the voicemail file, added a note. "We are requesting no further unsupervised contact with this individual." Travis leaned in the doorway. "You're serious." "No more polite fences," I said. "No more letting them choose what hurts gets ignored." He crossed his arms. "You're doing the right thing." It doesn't feel brave, I admitted. It feels overdue, he shrugged. Sometimes those are the same thing. 5 days passed. I thought the cease and desist, the school email, the attached voicemail, surely that would be the line in the sand. But people like Jody don't retreat. They regroup. Wednesday afternoon, I pulled into the school pickup line, window cracked for fresh air. Junie climbed into the back seat, hugging her backpack, then held out a pastel pink envelope with shaky hands. Miss Lauren gave this to me. She said Auntie Jody dropped it off and asked her to pass it along. I froze. My fingers closed around the envelope and I opened it right there in the front seat. If you ever feel sad or confused, Auntie Jody loves you. Even if your mom says no, you can always call me. Junie bit her lip. Did I make someone mad? No, sweetheart, I said, voice even. You didn't do anything wrong. But my hands were trembling so hard the note nearly tore. That night I skipped dinner, went straight to my laptop, filed a second notice, this time a formal cease and desist with a copy sent to our family attorney and the school district superintendent. This isn't family anymore, I told Travis. This is sabotage. She used someone else's name to bypass a legal order, he added, pacing the kitchen. She's crossing boundaries on purpose now, I nodded, and I'm done sending warnings. 2 days later, Dad's name flashed across my screen. I let it go to voicemail. Then came a text. Heard about your letter to the school. Overreacting doesn't help anyone. Later that night, Jody posted a selfie online. New SUV, bow still on the hood. Caption, Thanks, Dad, you always believed in me. I stared at the screen for a beat too long, then turned it off. No tears this time, just a soft, unfamiliar sense of certainty. I scrolled back to the message from Dad, hovered over the reply field, then hit delete. They're not losing me, I whispered to myself. I'm releasing them. Dinner was simmering on the stove, rosemary chicken, Junie's favorite, when my phone buzzed on the counter. Group text from Mom. I wiped my hands, unlocked the screen, and froze. There it was. Don't expect much from Lacey. She's always been overly sensitive. Just let her have this tantrum. Attached beneath the message was a picture of Junie, at school, on the playground, laughing. Someone had snapped it, probably Jody, and my mother had shared it casually, like Junie was part of a conversation I hadn't been invited into. Travis walked in just as I put the phone down. She didn't mean to send that to you, huh? He asked, reading my face. No, but she meant every word. I didn't raise my voice, didn't throw anything. Instead, I walked to my desk, pulled out a folder titled Family, and opened my laptop. Every voicemail, every screenshot, every message that made my stomach twist over the years. I compiled them into a single PDF. No edits, no commentary. Subject, in case you're wondering why we stopped showing up. I attached the file, BCC'd every adult in our family tree, clicked send. By the time the chicken hit the table, replies had already begun to roll in. I had no idea. We always thought something was off. You did the right thing? My aunt unfollowed Jody publicly. A cousin shared the email in another family group chat. Someone screenshotted Jody's SUV post and wrote, "So this is what loyalty looks like?" I didn't reply to any of them, just watched the dust swirl. Then I went to my messages. Blocked Mom. Blocked Jody. That silence? It wasn't an absence. It was a boundary, not an escape, a strategy. For once, I wasn't biting my tongue. I was letting the truth speak louder than any microphone they'd ever grabbed first. 2 weeks passed, the silence stayed, no apology, no explanation, just absence. Then, a thin envelope slid through our mailbox, my mother's handwriting on the front. Inside was a mass-produced sympathy card, printed cursive. We miss our family, hope to reconnect someday. I flipped it over, blank, no note, no name. I grabbed a sticky note, scribbled 4 words. So did I, once. I stuck it to the front and mailed it back. No return address, just space. Meanwhile, Jody vanished from social media. Her pages gone. Photos deleted. The SUV post erased like it never existed. I didn't rejoice. I didn't gloat. I just made pancakes. Junie, now freer in ways too quiet to measure, laughed more these days. She started drawing galaxies, whole constellations taped across her bedroom ceiling. They don't buzz in my chest anymore, she told me one night as I tucked her in. Buzz? You know, that feeling when people act nice, but it's really sharp underneath. I kissed her cheek. That feeling has a name, and you're allowed to leave it behind. One Saturday morning, I got an email from a parent at her school. Hey, Lacey, would Junie like to come to Ava's birthday party? She and my daughter talk about stars all day. I smiled, replied yes. Normal. It felt normal. At family day at school, Junie chose me. Each kid painted a picture of what family means. Hers? A swirl of soft pinks and blues, a small figure holding an umbrella under a sky of stars. In the corner, her caption read, "Safe is better than big." I didn't cry in front of her. I just squeezed her hand. That night, I opened my laptop to check work email. One unread message, no subject line. It was from Jody. Are you happy now? You won? I hovered over it, then clicked delete. No reply, no need. Because I didn't win, I walked away. And finally, I never looked back. Some people inherit furniture, some people inherit silence. I turned mine into a boundary. And finally, peace had room to breathe. Sometimes walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And silence? It's not always surrender. It can be the strongest boundary you'll ever set. For years, I tried to earn love by shrinking myself. I stayed quiet to keep the peace. I laughed at jokes that stung, showed up to events where I was invisible, and called it family. But here's what I know now. Being loyal to people who hurt you isn't love. It's self-abandonment. I don't tell this story because I want sympathy. I tell it because maybe someone watching has been biting their tongue too long. Maybe you've mistaken survival for harmony. If that's you, it's not too late to stop. You don't owe anyone your silence, especially when it's costing you your self-worth. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had to walk away from people who were supposed to protect you? What gave you the strength to finally say enough? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Even just drop a if this resonated with you, or type 1 if you've ever felt invisible around your own family. Tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to know which city or state you're in. It helps this small community feel a little closer. And if this video touched something in you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There are more stories coming, real, raw, and sometimes messy, but always with one goal, to remind you that your voice matters, your story is valid, and healing is possible. Thanks for being here. I see you.